Ooh, here we are on the issue 29. Like, it's almost like Saturday Night Live, but it's the Steve and Cimino Says Boom Wednesday Night Live show. Steve, we got some big people in the house. We got to get them in here.
Boom!
Hey everyone, welcome to POPXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the POPXP channel.
Oh, we are live. I'm a little scared today, Steve, because the POPXP is together. It's like the mafia has come to collect on the Steve and Cimino podcast show. They're going to jump us. We got to pay them our shekels, because look at Big Bad teen sensation Billy Tucci's here. We got Niall always in the house. Niall, oh my God, Steve, a live event with Niall. Niall, I don't know. We got Billy here. Who should I ask to tell us what to do? I think it's you.
I'm gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell everyone out there what to do.
Wow,
First thing we're gonna do.
Big boy now.
Big boy. I got my big bad boy shoes on.
I'm just here for a good time.
Subscribe button. You're gonna smash that bell, get notifications when we go live, and we upload some awesome new content. And we got Mr. Tucci in the house with those delicious chips.
I gotta eat my chips, man.
You gotta eat your chips, bro.
Tucci's always everywhere. We know that. Like wherever the POPXP's going down, he's there. He was yesterday, today, tomorrow. He's everywhere. And Steve, we got the POPXP in full force. And me and Steve always like to talk about stuff. And last time we were on your show, Billy said, "I want to do some top stuff. Let's have a fun show." And Steve, I couldn't think of what we were gonna do. You came up with a good idea. What should happen? What should we be talking about today? Live with other people to get involved.
You know, if we really want to get the internet cracked open, okay, and all of us end up, in an FBI jail, I think we should probably talk about our top 5 villains, but not just from comics. From pop culture and all over the place. Any villain that you like, could be a comic, could be a TV show, could be a movie, could be a cartoon.
Could be your wife.
Okay, so we're going to have 4 different people with completely different choices. No one knows what their choices are right now, so this is going to be quite an eye-opening experience. The only thing is, John, you just have to watch your language because sometimes you get carried away. We're live today.
Oh, I do. I can't. Especially when villains are in the hizzy. But hey, I'll tell everybody how we're going to do this. But before we go into it, I just want to mention out today. Everybody go to the store. Roy Thomas's book, The X-Men Legends, has hit the shelves. Why this is so important is because, first off, I have to say Colonel Bernardo is in there, who is me. That's my middle name. Giovanni Bernardo Sanchez Cimino is here, so I'm actually a character here. But what makes this interesting is Wolverine is going to have his costume revealed. It's a 2-parter, not in this one, but in the next one. But it takes place between Hulk 181 and Giant Size X-Men. But why this is getting great reviews is because it is written as a pure classic story from the 1970s. Roy just went smooth as silk. And everybody who's read it, think about this. A pure comic book story that is so refreshing and it's almost unheard of. I don't know if you read it yet, Steve, but this is a great issue. It's a throwback.
I am gonna purchase that issue because I happen to be quite good between panels.
Yeah, and great art by Dave Watcher. I'm just saying, man, it's a good two-parter to see what happened between Hulk 181 and Giant Size X-Men, and it's written classic. Okay, that's out of the way. Now this is how we're gonna do our top 10, top 5 villains in pop culture. We'll go to Steve, then we'll go to Mr. Tucci. He'll do his number 5. Then Tucci will do his number 5. Niall will do his number 5, and I'll do my number 5. And then we'll go 4 and all the way around. So we'll make a giant U, like the U-Man, from the guy U-Man. You remember U-Man from the Invaders?
Wow. Yes, everyone remembers U-Man. Of course, he was a
that's a Roy Thomas co-creation.
He was an Atlantean traitor, a Nazi traitor.
Yeah, that's Mr. Thomas right there. Okay, I love that guy. All right. So Steve, the top 5 villains in pop culture, and we like people to throw their feedback in here. Tell us what they think of our picks. And then throw in your top 5 picks. If you like us, you hate them, or love them, I don't know. We're going to see. So we'll start off with you, Steve. You're going to hit. You're batting first.
Hang
for,
on,
for
Steve.
better or for
Hang on,
worse.
Steve. Hang on, Steve. I got to start this right. Ready? Number 5.
Wow. Now, this. By the way, this was a couple of hours of thinking and changing, backwards and forwards. Because it's only 5. However, I am going to choose a character from a movie. It's not a comic. That movie is Braveheart, and I love King Richard I. Okay, Edward Longshanks.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one.
Now, you may not know it, but in England, he was also called the Hammer of the Scots, because that's basically what he did. He hammered away at the Scots for all those times. And what I love about this part here, now, of course, that's Patrick McGoohan. His delivery is magnificent. He is so evil. He is just and the fear that he brings into the people around him is just genius. I watched that film in the cinema, and I just fell in love with so many classics, especially when that young prince starts to talk, and you're like, who is this person that speaks to me? And then I'm well championed in all the arts of war. And, interesting. Come with me. Right out the window.
Oh,
so many different sections. It's like, let the archers shoot, but sir, won't we hit our own men? We have more.
Yes, I good pick.
So brilliant, and Mel Gibson did such a great job with the directing and the way that he is that you just hated that guy.
Oh yeah,
hated him. And every time you thought that that Mel had outsmarted him, he was like, "Oh, really? No, I've already done that. I've done this. I've done that." Again, I love that villain. The portrayal by Patrick McGoohan is a classic. So that's from Braveheart. That's 1995. King Edward I, Edward Longshanks.
Wow,
outstanding selection. Outstanding.
It was. All right, Billy, what do you got?
All right. Well, okay, so I try to go out of the box, think outside the box, except for my number 1. Because now I was like, I need your top 5 villains, and I just reeled them off. But I hope later on we can do honorable mention. Maybe we pick 1 or 2 honorable mentions, maybe. Okay, because I think they're actually more, I like them better. But we're going to go way back to when little Billy was probably 3 years old.
Ooh.
and going to TV for a villain. And this villain scared the living crap out of me as a kid until the very end. But I don't know if you wanna show it, Niall. Let's show it.
That's fantastic.
Right? I remember. Do you guys remember? Now I don't know, Steve, if you saw this, but John, I know you do. Remember, we were kids and we had to be like 3-4 years old the first time you saw it, and all of a sudden you hear this roar, and then the feet come walking by, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" Scared the living crap out of me. Always wondered why Yukon Cornelius didn't shoot him. He had that pistol. Why don't you just shoot this guy in the face? But yeah, that was it. That was probably my first memory of a villain.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, so it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He is this.
You don't know that, Steve?
Monster.
And no. Steve, Bumbles Bounce.
Yeah, Bumbles Bounce.
Yeah, Bumbles Bounce.
Again, that's pure Americana. I was on the other side of the ocean.
You've never seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? The Raskin Bass?
No, Ranking Bass.
Rankin Bass. You never saw Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at Christmas time?
No.
Wow.
But
I love
the reason why I picked him though, real quick, is that because I was tossed up because I didn't know who the real villain was. The Bumble or Santa Claus. What an asshole Santa Claus was in that movie. Excuse my words. Right?
He was terrible. He was terrible.
He was like the real villain was Santa Claus. He was miserable because he was skinny. And then he throws Rudolph out, casts him out into the Arctic.
It did hurt.
Starved to death. And then when he needs him, oh my God, now we need Rudolph to save us.
Yeah, Steve, it was one of those seasonal classics that came on TV with like.
I've seen the adverts for it whenever it's Christmas. I always see it I see a little clip. But I mean, at my age, I am not. I'm not going to sit down there and watch that show.
Well, you are now, because now I know what we're going to do in December, because we're going to be doing a live screening with Steve for stupid American Christmas claymation.
That's perfect.
Great pick. All right, Niall, you're up.
All right, mine's kind of in that same 5-6-year-old old Niall sitting there in the theaters, and who comes on the screen but a judge of doom that had me go deer from Roger Rabbit.
Oh my!
One of the worst villains.
Yeah.
Just absolutely cruel when he dunked the shoe into the thinner. Oh my gosh. I had nightmares of this man.
Yeah, that was terrifying. That was terrifying. He was a great villain.
Yes.
I have to admit, I haven't seen that film either.
All right, Rabbit? But Steve,
great animation.
I remember Roger Rabbit when they were advertising that too back in the day, because it had he was animated. That was like a big deal for the time too, like the animated rabbit on the screen with the real people, Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I remember is that voluptuous lady that was on there as well.
Of course.
I can't be fired. So, come on now.
All right, I'm going. My number 5. I had to make this a tie, but it was from the exact same movie, so it doesn't matter. They were both on the same team. Now, Steve, you know this one, and everybody else knows this one. I'm going to say right now, Niall, show it up there. Lord Humongous and Wes. Tigel Nielsen and Vernon Wells from Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior 1981. This movie was unbelievable. Now, let's look for a second at Wes with the makeup. He had the football pads and all that, and you had Lord Humongous. Oh, my God. First off, I love the first Mad Max, but I saw this first. I saw Mad Max 2 first when I was a kid. And this, I love the Interceptor. I loved everything. But why I also love this, Niall, if you can take that away and show, look who's behind me right there. The LOD, the Road Warriors. Some of my greatest idols and mentors in life. I loved Animal. I worked with him. He was such a good guy. But they were inspired by what? The Road Warrior, obviously, and then they wore the shoulder pads. But Wes, I'm gonna get you. Oh, him and Mad Max had that. Just walk away. Just walk away. The Lord Humongous.
I can't believe you called up Humongous, because there's a little scene where he gets out of the truck and you see the size of his legs.
Oh,
I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to look just like that. I have to have those legs. The only thing I didn't like was those pulsating pulses he had on the back of his head. I was like, okay, I'm not going to have that. Okay. But I remember telling my mum, that's what I want to look like. I want to look like that. And then she was like, you stupid boy. But that's what she said all the time. Great choice. I love Humongous.
Oh, see, I knew Steve was going to like that. But and Steve, remember, really quick, do you remember that part when the flame goes, he's driving the car and the flame goes on him and he just rips off his cape and you just see the sides of him? When I was a kid, was like, ooh. So yes, Lord Humongous and Wes a tie. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior 1981. All right, Steve. What, Niall? The number 4?
Number
Ooh.
4.
Ooh, look at Niall. Okay,
All
Steve,
right.
you're up.
Wait a minute. Niall, what about your number 5?
I already did it, bro. Judge Doom.
Oh,
Yes,
Roger
okay,
Rabbit.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Eat some more
Fix the
potato
bomb.
chips, won't you?
Excuse
All
me,
right,
I gotta
now
eat some more. Let me eat some more chips.
Eat some more
Yes, I am. Sorry.
All right,
right,
Steve.
my next choice is I'm going all the way out to left field. I don't think any of you would have possibly imagined that I was going to have this character as my 4th favorite villain. And again, it's a movie. It's from 1984.
The year I was born.
And it's from a film called Amadeus.
Amadeus,
Okay.
Amadeus.
And I'm talking about Antonio Salieri. Okay.
Right.
I love this movie. I love this character. He is the ultimate tortured villain. Just despicable in what he was doing. However, there are multiple reasons why he was doing what he was doing. Now, of course, the actor we're talking about is F. Murray Abraham, who did a magnificent job. And I have to admit, when it comes to non-science fiction and stuff like that, this is probably one of my favorite films of all time.
Wow.
And you can, in this portrayal, you can see just how troubled and Salieri is, and the fact that he's good, but Mozart is brilliant, and he just cannot accept it. And I love every time something goes wrong, I love the way he keeps looking up at the cross and saying, "Thank you," as if he's being punished from on high. It's like if Mozart wasn't here, I would be the man. And then this little annoying brat comes along, and no one cares about me anymore. And there's a little sequence right at the end, which I always get very emotional about when I see it. And, he's being interviewed by the priest. And then Salieri says, do you know what it's like to see yourself disappearing year after year? And then his music growing. So he was kept alive by God just to see that his insignificant life was going to go to nothing.
Wow.
It's incredibly powerful, but he is a despicable human. Okay, because he especially when he says, "Oh," and his little coffin. It's just genius. So Antonio Salieri, I know that's probably a surprise to a lot of people, but I love that guy.
Oh God, intensity. He was so intense too. It was great. All right, Mr. Tucci.
Hang on, Niall, I'm asking you in the private chat.
I'm asking you in the private chat. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So this movie is one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen in my life. I think he got his comeuppance. I was happy for it. But also what I couldn't stand him was because I felt that I could kick the shit out of him. I would have done things differently. And there's one thing that you have a villain that's all powerful, makes you feel impotent. You're terrified. There's nothing you could do. This was someone who's just a snot-nosed piece of shit, him and his friends. And when I remember seeing this, I'm like, me and my friends could kick the shit out of these guys. But he's a great, great villain. So if you want to show it, Niall. Alex Clockwork Orange. I mean, brilliantly portrayed by Malcolm McDowell. But again, like I said, man, that skinny little shit that he is, I'm like, I could kick the crap out of this guy. But again, he was a great villain. He's still one of my favorites because I think what a role, to be able to play someone like that. Again, such a disturbing film. If you guys saw it, and he gets it. He gets his just rewards, right? Just desserts, just rewards. What is it?
Yeah, just desserts is good.
Yeah, he gets his just desserts. So I think it's a fantastic, insanely disturbing film. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, of course, whenever I see that little picture right there, I get that massive keyboard music that was going along with the movie at the time. So whenever I see that, I'm there. But it's definitely the visuals are incredible. And you're right. They're just a group of little skinny kids with baseball bats. And I'm thinking, well, who gave you this power?
Yeah, why are people afraid of them? Where are the rugby players? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where are the soccer players? You know, the football players? Where are the men, the World War II veterans? Why, the veterans? Where are these guys? And they're letting these punks run around, and it was terrified of them and stuff. And
that film contains, I think, one of the most amazing sequences that I think I've ever seen or filmed. And there's when McDowell's inside that old guy's house, and he's supposed to be rehabilitated. And then the old guy clicks and remembers just who he is. And there's this camera angle where the guy's got his head down and the camera's looking up and he's going, it's amazing. It's like, who thought of that? But whenever I see it, it's like genius, Academy Awards all around.
Yeah, it was just a film of villains. So there's a bunch of villains. So that was my number 4.
1972, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. 72.
All right, Niall, you're up. Number 4.
My villain. I mean, my number 4 villain just trumps all you guys. I mean, in size, mass,
that's big words.
And I have to say, not only a pop culture villain icon for over 30 years, but many of us have personally taken this villain on over and over again, consecutively through generations and generations. I give you Bowser from Super Mario. We have all taken this villain on. First time I've ever actually had something to strive through, or a trophy to get, was when playing Super Mario. And every year, a new game practically comes out. I mean, you guys had to have played against Bowser at least one time.
I never have.
No, I never played it.
What?
I played original Donkey Kong, and then I got into girls.
Steve.
I never played that game.
Come on, guys. Come on. No Roger Rabbit.
Niall's only 37 years old, too. Though.
I know.
Yeah, this is a fascinating aspect of different generation gap.
I'm trying to go through different genres, guys.
Hey, Steve, did you see that build-up Niall gave it? And it was like somebody trying to show you they could take the tablecloth from the dishes without moving anything. And he... I love you, Niall. Okay, number 4 for me. I got to go to comics now. Got to go in. Got to go to our... Got to do it. Number 4, this guy... Oh, I know Steve will love him too, but I love him because he's a bully, an SOB, and doesn't matter how many times he gets beaten up, he always wants to come back. I just love him from his first appearance, a Stan Lee, Jack Kirby creation, from Thor 137, from 1967. Niall? Oh, wow. I have to. Ulick with those dusters. Oh, I just love Ulick. Oh, Jack Kirby drew him so awesome. And Ulick just wanted to best Thor. He didn't care about anything else. And no matter how many times he got beaten, he would do it again and again and again. And it was never easy for Thor. Long battles of attrition. But man, and he beat Thor a few times when he put on those dusters and hit the Thunder God. I hope if they put him in a movie, eventually they give him the respect he deserves. During the 90s and on, they kind of made him more of a throwaway character, but the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Ulick was just incredible. And I got to admit, when John Buscema drew him in that 1985 Thor annual, you remember that one, Steve?
I do.
With Mephisto there? Oh, unbelievable. I love Ulick. Ulick, I love you. And he actually became leader of the Rock Trolls after a while because he never really cared. He was just always destruction. Well,
he never respected King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
He never did. But what I also like about Ulick is he is so powerful that he took a full burst of spells from Carnilla and just laughed in her face. And so she began to panic and was like, someone needs to help me here. And the Boulder the Brave says, okay, I'll help you. And that begins the whole, romance between Boulder and Carnilla.
Nice, Blevins.
Yes,
Blevins
over Blastar. Blastar, the living bomb burst was good, but he wasn't as strong as Ulick. And Ulick, the unconquerable, Ulick, the invincible, Ulick, the all-powerful. And he would just give himself nickname after nickname after nickname. Jack Kirby.
But except when he awakened the Mangog and then he was fearful.
Yes. He did. When Mangog picked him up, he is as strong as 100 Uliks. Yeah, but I love Ulik, so that's my number 4. All right, Niall, whip us up with the back. What are we going? What number now?
Number 3.
Number 3. Go ahead,
All right.
Steve.
So, again, I'm not going to get to comics yet. This is another movie character.
Ooh.
Okay. And this is a character that I loved so much. And I was very, very fortunate years later to actually meet the actor that played this villain. It's one of my special moments in life. Again, the people are just going to lose their mind. I'm talking about Mr. Matt Cordell, the Maniac Cop.
Oh, I never saw that movie.
I never seen it either, Steve. What's this?
Yes, you have to see this film. In actual fact, you have to see 1, 2, and 3. And basically, he was a super cop, someone that was like going, the extra mile, for justice. And then, unfortunately, he gets sidelined and, backtracked and sent to jail. And all of the prisoners on the inside attack him and beat him to death, cut his face, rip him to shreds. And then they have this weird scientist that thinks, well, maybe I can save him. And then sort of puts him back together again. And then Matt Cordell decides that he's going to put his uniform back on again and go out policing in his own way, which is utter devastation. He will just kill you in seconds. And one of my favorite, my favorite film is Maniac Cop 2, which is, it's genius in every single way. And basically the whole story entails of him taking a busload of criminals that are going to go to the death house. He's fulfilling this mission. But there's a little origin sequence in there where you see this judge, that's banging this hammer like that, and he's being sent off, and it's this little whistling sound. It's like every time you hear the whistling sound, you're going to have this little flashback. I fell in love with Maniac Cop. He was played by an actor called Robert Zadar. And Robert Zadar had an appearance in, what was that Stallone and Kurt Russell movie?
I know what you're talking. Was it Tango and Cash?
Tango and Cash. Now, in that film, remember the guy in the jail with the big jaw? And then Stallone goes, "You broke his jaw." That's Robert Zadar. And years later, in like 1995, I got a call from a friend. He goes, "Do you want to film a little commercial?" I was like, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "Robert Zadar's going to be there." I said, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." I went there, and it was funny. No one knew who he was. I just ran up to him and I said, "You're Robert Zadar. You're the Maniac Cop. Oh my God, you're the best I've ever seen." He was like, "Whoa, who in the hell are you?" So I just spent the whole day talking with the guy. Had some, a nice photograph that he autographed for me. It's a very special moment for me because, he passed away a couple of years ago. He had a heart attack. He's no longer with us. But whenever I see Maniac Cop, I always think of Robert Zadar, and it's just, you have to see it, okay? It's not an Academy Award-winning film, but you will love it.
Yeah, and Matt Happ, thanks for the super chat. One of those movies you could see on early YouTube.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Mr. Teen Sensation Billy Tucci, you're number 3.
You're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, keep it. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
All right, let's share it. Hang on. Move it over here. All right, there you go.
Oh,
we got to go with this. Let's go big.
Don't get a copyright strike.
It's just 16 seconds. You think we will?
We have to talk over it.
All right, Norman Stanfield from Leon, the Professional, and I just love this guy. Is it working?
I hear something, but it's not.
Why
showing
is that
visual.
doing that? Oh, you son of a gun. Hang on. Let me try it again.
There's
I
the villain
love that
right
movie.
there.
I just love this scene. I love this movie. Let me see if I can get it now. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on, because I have it in. Hang on a second.
It's like he's flying the Millennium Falcon in there. Look at him.
I know he's rocking and rolling.
Hang on, yeah, because I'm working over here on my PC, so I have to. Let's do that. Hang on. Move it over here.
No greater villain than
It's
technical
this guy.
difficult.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let me share it now. But I think I have to throw the little. It's only 16 seconds, not even. Okay.
Don't Wonder Woman me.
I know. All right. So let's play it, shall we?
We shall.
I told you. Manny. Bring me everyone. Bring me everyone.
That's like you and your wife talking.
Yeah, I know.
I need the prince. Which one? Bring me everyone.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I love Norman Stansfield, drug-addled DEA agent from Leon. Gary Oldman was just so great.
That is such a great choice. What a maniac!
Yeah, what a he made that whole movie. I mean, he was.
Yeah,
I just love that film. From a, it's just a great all-around picture.
Yeah, it is.
And he
Gary
really,
Oldman. He's awesome. So
Yeah.
good in that guy.
and people used to say I looked like him, so I would go everyone all the time. So I just, like I said, one of my favorite films. I just think it's a great film, and he just stole that whole film of a film of such great actors. From with Jean Reno to what's her name? She was 12 years old. She was brilliant. What's her name? The one from Thor: Love and Thunder.
Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Yes.
Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Yeah. To what's his name? That just passed away. Danny Aiello. A great man, and he topped them all. And just the brutality he had, the pure evil. And listen to Mozart and shooting kids and stuff like that in the back, and just that's one of the all-time villains in my.
That is. I've forgotten about him. That's a genius choice. What a
It
maniac.
is. I haven't seen that in years. I have to go back to that.
And that I have to say though, Gary Oldman played two of them because when he was in True Romance.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, but he wasn't in it as much. He was only in one scene. But he's like, is it not White Boy Day? Is this White Boy Day? He couldn't figure out what the hell he was. You know what I mean? Is he playing a Rastafarian? Is he a black guy, a white guy? But it just worked. He was just great. So that's that to Gary Oldman. Salute.
Yes.
All right, Niall, you're number 3.
All right. Now this has to be something you guys are familiar with.
Oh, I'm scared.
Because now we're going back.
Hang on. Is it a character from Sega?
No. This is television. This is television.
Oh, okay.
When man loses control of machines in the Cylons.
Oh.
Yes. Our biggest fear is technology grows, and it's a true conversation now. Will AI take over? Brilliant. The Cylons. I love the concept. Battlestar Galactica, the original series, the remastered. I mean, there's no better AI villain out there. And there's millions of them.
Yeah, I love the Cylons. You're right down my alley. I remember watching in '79 Battlestar Galactica, and I just love their little voices. And I love it was their villain was Boltar, right? And he had that little chair. He would spin around, and it was always something to like kowtow to his masters, But yeah, I love the Cylons. I really do. That's an excellent choice.
Yeah, especially the lighting.
Oh no,
Just muted
Billy.
yourself.
What's he hitting?
What are you doing over there?
I'm working on
What's in those tater chips you've been eating?
that the lighting, the reflection. Remember how the chrome just was so blinding and all, and I think that was
their
an
voices, that
initially.
monotone electronic voice. We used to copy that for hours at school and burn our throats out.
Yeah.
Well,
Good choice.
The thing about me, I was never into sci-fi. I was always a strict superhero guy or fantasy guy. I hated
Niall,
Star Wars.
Can you blacken out John's screen?
I just never could. I never could get into it.
Wow, so this is the first time that me and you have a schism.
Schism.
Wow.
And you know what bothered me about Battlestar Galactica? Lauren Green was a cowboy. I saw him on Bonanza, and then I'm like, nah.
Right?
No. Even as a little kid, I was like, no.
Wow.
He's a time traveler.
We have learned something amazing today. I had no idea you were like that.
I hate sci-fi. I hate Star Wars. I hate all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm super. I was always so, and here's another thing. I hated fuzzy animal, little like I hated Looney Tunes and all that stuff. It was always superhero. I was pure superhero or fantasy.
Wow, so you didn't like that little dog that they had? Remember on that little dog?
Buck Rogers. Oh, I couldn't stand it.
Oh, come on now.
It was
Did
so
you like
tight.
the Slee Stacks? Land of the Lost?
And Buck Rogers, it was so tight, like you could see the bulge in his pee-pee. It was like he couldn't even
You
breathe.
shouldn't be looking
That's
at
how
him.
you knew he was the hero.
The other ladies. Oh my God.
All right. My number 3. I'm going. Now this is something I know you'll all like. I know Steve will, but I know Billy Tucci will love this one. I cannot deny this. This is the preeminent soldier villain that I fell in love with. I fell in love with.
See, dead.
Go. The preeminent soldier villain. When I was a kid and I saw this, you were scared of him like everyone else was, but you hated him and you just wanted him. You wanted somebody to take him out, but everybody was scared to death. Played by Tom Berenger, the 1986 movie Platoon. Niall, Sergeant Barnes.
Sergeant Barnes.
Oh, now that guy right there was you. What do you all know about death? Oh my God! The only thing that can kill bombs is bombs.
Yeah.
Oh. Right there when he saw them. Oh my God, that was so awesome. When the bombs are all blowing up behind him and he's just walking through it and he's just like, get your hell out of here. Oh, he was crazy, but he was so friggin' intimidating. I fell in love with Tom Berenger, and God forbid he couldn't do another good movie after this, and it drove me nuts. And I wanted to like him, but I couldn't. But yeah, we all gotta. Yeah, he was just unbelievable. I loved Sergeant Barnes. You can watch that movie.
Great
today.
choice.
Yes,
that movie
you
holds
can watch
up so
this movie
well.
today.
Oh,
You can watch this today, and he still scares the bejesus out of you. And it's still a top performance. Unbelievable. Sergeant Barnes. Love him.
Well,
Love
second to Major League.
yeah, he had too many ailments in Major League. Barnes wasn't gonna, but not in Platoon. But it was awesome. So that's my number 3.
You are right. I mean, that was like his stepping stone. You would think to become like a superstar. And then I don't know what happened. It didn't quite happen. I remember I watched him in a film. What was it? He was The Substitute, and he was like a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And then he was in Sniper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But yeah.
Did you say 7?
Somebody knew exactly what I was going to say. Unbelievable.
So he just kind of disappeared, and it was so upsetting to me because he did so well in that. But it's such a great performance that, like I said, you can still go back. Go watch Platoon today, and you'll be like, wow, that was a powerful movie, especially
if you're on the West Coast.
Yes.
If you're on the West
Coast. 1986.
Excellent choice.
Yeah. All right, Steve, you're number 2.
All right,
number 2.
Nice, Niall.
Now, finally, we are into a comic villain, and as soon as you guys, see who this is, you're all gonna go, "Oh, come on, Steve, we know." I went backwards and forwards with so many villains, and I was like, "Really? Do I really have to choose him? Really?" Because it's so obvious. But the genius of his creation, the genius of the way he's been handled, on most occasions. I'm talking about, of course, the ruler of Latveria. I'm talking about good old Dr. Doom. Okay?
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
Now,
Amen. Amen.
Again, he starts off because obviously he starts off, in the early 1960s, and he seems to be, a singular, I'm going to take over the world, la, la, la. But quite quickly, Stan and Jack injected far more depth into this character and made you think, well, wait a minute, there's reasons as to why he's acting like this. Okay, he's not the Red Skull, he's not the Yellow Claw, he's Doctor Doom. And then secondly, they gave him the grandeur of actually running an entire country. He had an like an ambassador, in the States. So it's definitely a very special character. And secondly, what for me, he really is, and they've never really done this properly. He's the only one who could really beat Reed because of his knowledge of sorcery. Okay, Reed's mind can't go there, but his can. No writer has actually handled that properly. And for me, his finest moment, for me personally, was when Sue called upon him to take on the Overmind. That everyone had failed, and Reed Richards was under the control. And then Sue says, okay, I need you. He goes to Reed's lab, and he's like, oh, this is like child's play, but this is good. And he concocts up this little weapon, just like Reed would have done. He comes out, and there's that massive sequence where the Overmind is blasting him with an amazing amount of power. And Dr. Doom really could have just said, you know what? Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm out. But he didn't. He carried on. His armor is being shredded. And even the rest of the Fantastic Four are like, oh my God, look at this guy go. Okay, and then that actually allows the FF to win, and the Stranger comes down. La la. We'll get into FF 116 another time. But again, the grandeur. Yes, he does have some, some spiteful aspects to his character, stuff like that. But there's a grandeur to him. Okay, and you can understand it. He's a character that's been fully fleshed out over the years. He's not just black and white like the Red Skull or Yellow Claw or Dr. Sun.
Excellent choice, Niall. I'm going to call an audible. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pick my number 2 villain. Okay. Sorry to do this, but I originally had it in one of my own characters, but that's selfish of me, and I'm not going to do that.
No, it's not.
No, it is. I'm going to pick this guy, Roy Lichtenstein. I hate this man with a passion. I hate what the thievery, the millions he made, robbing some of the greatest comic creators who are probably making $10 a page. They never got a chance to get their own artwork. He's copying their artwork, making it worse, and becoming world famous and a millionaire. Roy Lichtenstein. He's not as bad. He's almost as bad as Bob Kane. No. My son.
J.C. Vaughn. He's a thieving bastard.
He is a thieving bastard. And I think a thieving bastard that it is. I know, we can go with Hitler and all these other guys, but if it was keeping it comics kind of related, this guy's a real piece of garbage in my book. And despise this man. Don't even know him. And that's sad, but
he was just angry that his eyes were so far apart.
Yeah, I don't like people like that. Gollum looking. Look at his nose is bent. He just looks like a bad guy. Look, right? Look at this.
But you see,
he looks like a villain.
Wait a minute, he's got the Hitler hair, and look, if you put put that little thing there, right? Look at
But Billy, you see, with these type of people, these type of individuals, though they gain finances and all that stuff at the time, their legacy dictates something else, like Bob Kane and stuff. Like it doesn't live. Like eventually, the truth comes out. You know what I mean? And it's like his legacy is what he is. So he's dead now too, right?
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. I just think it's us. I think it's more us who realize it. So many, I would think in mainstream, in all honesty, that he's probably the most famous comic artist in the world. Yeah. To the ordinary person.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. So that was my number 2. I was going to use, like I said, I was going to pick a character, but I'm not. So
yeah.
Okay, Niall.
Before I jump into mine, Matt Hepp, thank you again for a $5 super chat. I'm surprised Roy wasn't number 1, but then again, he doesn't even deserve a number 1 spot anywhere.
Oh, what is that?
What's that? Who's Roy?
Is Roy?
What's that?
Oh, Lichtenstein. Oh, I thought you said Roy Thomas.
No. Roy Lichtenstein. Oh, you guys got me. I'm like, what? I was like, literally baffled. Like, are you guys serious right now?
Did you think that too?
It's okay, John. It's okay.
Did you think he was talking about Roy Thomas too, though?
I didn't. No, honestly, I had no idea.
I thought he was saying Roy, and I was just going to say we're going to have an explosion on our screen right now. Let's go.
Yeah, he's a real. Yeah, that's true though. You know, but that's an excellent point, Matt. Thank you. So
Speaking of an explosion, my number two had traveled through the Force. Okay. And I'm not talking the Star Wars Force. I'm talking the Speed Force with Reverse Flash.
There we go.
Huge Flash fan.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that TV series that was on really got me into him even more. It had me starting to read more. Reverse Flash is just is an incredible villain. You know, basically mirroring what you're capable of. Like, how do you stop yourself? You know, especially when yourself can outperform better than you as well, even trained better than you. But I one of the best villains I think ever conceptually done in comics, in my opinion.
I'm never a big DC guy, but that villain, that costume, I agree with you. He is phenomenal. Just an evil bad. If you see, have you ever seen that Flashpoint DVD? Yep. That oh my God, you guys have to see that. I don't know if you guys seen that. And I'm not really a DC guy. He is such an evil bastard in that. Like my God.
And a great looking colors. You know, it's just perfect all around. Good choice, Niall.
Yes, that was isn't Carmen Infantino a co-creator of that? Carmen Infantino, right? Was co-creator of
That's definitely the right era.
Yeah, because he was that. I had a few of those issues. His first appearance, but yes, I agree.
I have a copy of his first appearance.
Okay, my number two may not be familiar with you guys, but a lot of the people who do the fantasy stuff will know this character. This character is from the Dragonlance saga that I always loved when I was a kid. That came out in 1984, was the Chronicles trilogy and stuff. But he is kind of like a knockoff. They call him like the Darth Vader of this fantasy, and he's kind of almost a knockoff of Dr. Doom a little bit in looks, but he's a Death Knight. His name is Lord Soth, the Death Knight, created by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman from the Dragons of Spring Dawning book from 1985. There he is leading the charge of his skeleton warriors. I know you guys holding the Rod of Flame, Eternal Flame. Like this guy, I just love this character because he's a niche character from a niche group, but he's very popular. He's very in demand. This is the guy. Look at that. Thank you. Right. Thank you. Lord Soth is such writing a nightmare, and his 13 warriors that died with him in death. Oh my God. Like, he has such a crazy backstory. We don't have to go into it, but Lord Soth is one of my greatest. I recommend anybody to read the first 6 books. It's the Chronicles trilogy, and then it went to the Legends trilogy right there. Lord Soth, the Death Knight. When anybody speaks of the Death Knight in Dungeons and Dragons or all that stuff, Lord Soth is like the greatest of the Death Knights, and that's him. I love him to death. So that's my number 2. I know you guys don't really know him, but I have such a passion. All right, Steve. Ooh, Niall. Ooh.
Number one.
Look at that. Number 1. Okay, Steve.
All right. So we're going to remain in comics. And realistically speaking, anyone who's watching this that knows me would think this is the person that I'm going to choose. There's only really one person that I can choose, being a cosmic nut. And of course, I'm talking about Thanos, of course. Okay.
Do you know who that is, Billy? Billy, do you know who that is?
No. Little baby Thanos with his arms behind his back.
That's Jim Starlin right there. That's one of the greatest panels in the history of comic books right there.
Yeah. Now, again, over the last, 9-8 years, Thanos has become, of course, very popular, and everyone's, he has a lot of, fans and such and such. However, for me, Thanos goes hand in hand with the evolution of storytelling in regards to villains and their motives. And what I'm talking about is, you know, you have your Stan and Jack era. Okay, then you have your Roy era. Okay. Jim Starlin brought in a whole new era and a way for you to think about how villains should be acting. And what I love about that sequence is in Strange Tales, Warlock is devastated. He's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? There's no way. How in the hell am I going to beat the Magus? What am I going to do? No one's going to be able to help me. And then out of the blue, boom, Thanos pops up and says, you know, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make you stronger, more powerful, so that you can defeat this Magus. Okay? And so here we have a villain, okay, that wanted, you know, basically to destroy the universe, you know, a couple of years beforehand with the Cosmic Cube. But because he can see the bigger picture and he's very subtle, he's going to say, I'm going to help you, Adam Warlock, because you're going to help me in a couple of years when I want to do utter and total stellar genocide. Genius. Absolute genius. And I've always loved his calm demeanor. Now, Jim Starlin, as far as I'm concerned, is the only writer that can really handle him. You know, other writers have him babbling on for hours. Thanos doesn't do that. He just speaks every now and again. Then when he speaks, someone's dying or you better be listening. Okay? And I just loved his gravitas, you know, even up through Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Crusade, and Infinity War. I love the way the rest of the heroes were like, well, wait a minute. But Thanos is here. Why is he talking with, you know, because they're thinking in black and white. Thanos and Warlock were thinking in grays, shades of gray. And that always forced the reader to redefine themselves, their own thoughts, and say, well, wait a minute. I know Thanos killed his own mum by eviscerating her with a knife. But, you know, he's a good guy now. That's the difficulty of Thanos. So for me, Thanos, Cosmic, #1. Boom.
Excellent choice.
All right, Billy, Team
Great
Sensation, #1. What do you
And
got?
my #1 is what I would assume everyone would think is #1, because I'm going to hark back to 1966. I can't imagine being 8, 10 years old, 12 years old or whatever, and picking up Fantastic Four #48. And that is, I mean, in my opinion, I think this is something that has to be the most terrifying of villains. Can you imagine, you know, you get this harbinger, you know, coming in, you know, you know, warning everyone of what's coming, you know, of sorts. And here it comes, and it's Galactus. You know, I can't think of any character, typically for me, that encompasses all that is evil. He is far more powerful than any villain that preceded him in comics. And I just think that the horror, the nightmares I would have had if I was 8 years old, you know, picking up that comic. And then how are they going to defeat them? How are they going to defeat him? How can you defeat him? And that just shows that comic writers today, and I was on Ethan's show and he had mentioned it. I don't think comic writers, the vast majority of them, especially those working in the mainstream, they do not know how to write a villain now. They don't know how to write that someone is he's just after his own means, you know what I mean, to an end, and he just will do whatever he can to get it. There has to be some redeeming quality, or he's misunderstood. Bullshit. This is just someone that just likes to just destroy, planets and worlds, and he doesn't care. And so that's for me. I just could imagine seeing this, and all of a sudden this monster appears, and how could you stop him?
Well, it's an interesting choice, and I would, in a way, I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of him as a villain.
I knew
he equates us to standing on an anthill.
Right.
And so to him, it's just like, well, wait a minute. If you needed to squash a little ant's nest, you wouldn't even give it a second thought. He's so far above us.
Yeah.
we're thinking of him as villains.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent.
He's beyond good and evil. He's beyond.
So that's why, years later, John Byrne did that, his little stories where all the different alien races see him as something different. Okay, he's just a power of force, but he's not sitting, up in space going, "Oh wow, yeah, I hate those Earthlings. I'm gonna feast on them next." He's driven by these internal problems. He has a hunger that has. Oh yeah, well done, Mr. Vaughn. Yes, he has this hunger. And in many ways, he longs for death, and death said, "No, you've got a task to perform." His task is to do what he's doing. So I wouldn't equate him as a villain, but definitely for us on the ground level, as soon as you see that guy, that he is the worst because he cannot, you can't bargain with him. You can't give him money. You can't give him gold. You can't say that I can do. He's just I'm hungry. Goodbye.
Yeah. See, I just fear to me as a villain, as looking at it as a human perspective, just the most terrifying. To me personally,
and one of Jack Kirby's greatest designs. One of his greatest.
Yeah.
What a great design! Even with the G, when he initially drew him with the G on his chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, like who cares? Yeah. Just.
Yeah. Only John's gonna have him.
So that's too
Power incarnate. All right, Niall, you're up. You're number one.
My number one is probably many people's number one, but I had to pick a certain version of this villain because of a certain actor who gave him such a personality and a persona that I'm going with the Joker, but from Batman the Animated Series, voiced by Mark Hamill, because whenever I read a comic with Joker, no matter when it was written, back issues, anything new, it's his voice I hear. He is the Joker. And by far, to me, one of the best psychotic, narcissistic, he is the all-time villain in my eyes and in my opinion. Joker's
without a doubt, the greatest
DC.
Yeah, without a doubt, the greatest DC villain. I'll give you that. And he's
easily.
He's so street level that people can relate to him. They know his that's what makes the Joker so appealing. It's that what he is, and he can do that. That guy can be out on the street,
Yeah.
He could be a normal person.
That's one of the few cartoons that I used to watch. I didn't give a crap about anything else. Don't give me G.I. Joe. Don't give me Transformers. Ugh. But I would watch the Batman animated series. It was on at like 4:00 in the afternoon, I think it was. Okay, I would watch that and really enjoy it. And again, I really did love that little cackling laugh that he had.
Oh yeah,
very good choice.
Yeah, and Niall, and I always loved the Joker, but it was the cartoon that really made me love him too, because Paul Dini wrote him incredible, and then Mark Hamill was So
and I just love the way he used to treat Harley Quinn. He was just used to abuse that girl.
Abuse the crap out of her. But what's fun too is if you watch the 1990s Flash series, it only had one season. Mark Hamill played the prankster, and it's the Joker's voice.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. Oh, fantastic. Okay, my number one. Now, Steve, this is where you made the mistake. And this is where you made the mistake, Billy, because I believe this is the greatest villain of all time. And it cannot be disputed, because if he puts his mind to it, all those guys you've had, he can defeat them all. Why? Because he is who he says he is, and he believes it. Niall, give it to him. Steve, you had him at number 2, but Dr. Doom is the greatest villain of all time. And I'll tell you why. Because he said so. Why does he want to rule the world? Because he believes he can do it better than anyone else. And let's be honest here. You had Galactus, okay. You had Thanos, small cheese. He kicked the butt of the Beyonder. God, basically. Why? Because Doom said so. And he walked amongst, there is nobody greater than Doom. Everything is based upon him. Stan Lee wrote his dialogue like nobody's business, and Jack Kirby designed a costume that was so majestic. And then look at John Buscema here, who just continued that. Unbelievable. There is nobody better than Doom. Latvian green, that's a color. That's right there. Look at that. And if you can get a license plate, you can put Dr. Doom and it'll fit right there on it. Why? Because Doom said so. Dr. Doom, the greatest villain of all time. Doesn't even come close. Thanos, yeah. And Doom will do what he needs to do to get ahead, and he will get ahead. Because Doom says so. Nothing beats Victor Von Doom. Emperor Doom is God. I'm sorry. There's no greater
rules
ever created than Doc. Stanley and Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four #5 is nothing better than that. Oh my God.
I would believe you there, John, but unfortunately, with the arrival of Squirrel Girl, Dr. Doom now has been completely and utterly defeated, and now he's crying in the corner, and she is the most powerful being in the entire Marvel universe. So I don't know what you're going to do now. I feel sorry for you. We can chat afterwards. I can try and help you through this.
John freaks. Oh, that was perfect timing. It was like, You're back, John. You're back.
It's funny
because Doom said so.
I got hit by Iceman. Sorry.
There you go. Hey, and quick thanks to Jacqueline Fernandez for the super chat.
Wow, thank you.
Great show, guys.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes.
And one more thing about Doom. Fantastic Four Annual #2 is one of the greatest standalone issues of all time. You tell me, everybody's trying to make a movie of the Fantastic Four. Make a Dr. Doom movie based on, get a great actor, and based it on his origin. There's a movie right there. And then have the Fantastic Four. The Rise of Dr. Doom, the fantastic origin of Dr. Doom. Nothing beats Dr. Doom.
I don't think that's a good idea because they would never live up to our expectations, and all four of us on this screen would go and buy the largest knife ever and rip into our own kidneys after watching what they would do to that character.
And that's saying the writers, it's awful. That's what I was trying to get to. It's terrible that they wouldn't know how to write a good villain today. They don't.
Yes, I agree 100%. They have
in the mainstream.
They have no idea about grandeur, and I think the best example of that so far is, sorry to go off on a tangent here, but I watched the Loki series, and it gets to the last issue where we're going to get this big reveal of the one who remains, who's supposed to be Kang. The guy comes out in a pair of Birkenstocks in like some sort of tutu, and he's laughing. He's going, can you imagine Stan and Jack creating a character or having there was no grandeur. It was like a massive big balloon that just went,
yeah.
I have no faith in what they're going to do. And it's what Billy said 100%. Modern creators, they have no idea about grandeur, gravitas, and what holding back. We don't need to know that his mum spanked him when he was younger and that's why he's a villain. Don't do that. Give us some real reasons, some real meat and potatoes. Okay, so they
also just make excuses for things all the time too, and I don't know. There's a big part of me that thinks that these are the same people who would be writing this, are the same people that refer to pedophiles as minor attracted persons or maps. You know what I mean? You can't even call someone a pedophile anymore. That's just someone who's attracted to minors. Or you out of your mind? So.
But that's why when all this stuff comes about, I just go back to the comics. You always go back. I always will, just like Steve, you have those comics back there when all said and done and the new Marvel universe. I understand. Believe me, I know a movie. I don't want Doom because he's going to be a Fruit Loop and he's going to be not what he's supposed to be. But you can always go back to those comics and read the true source. And like I said, Dr. Doom. And one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Doom is when he was fighting Thor. And he knew Thor had all that power in his hammer. And he said to Thor, he goes, the fact that you don't use that power for yourself is the reason why I'm better than you. And I should be worthy of that. I was like, oh my God. Dr. Doom, he goes, that's what makes me better than you is because I would use that power for myself. There's
also another one, John, that I know that you've read a million times. And it's when the Hulk has grabbed Dr. Doom by his, in a bear hug and is crushing him you know, and the Hulk thinks that, you know, he's just going to kill this guy. This guy's going to cry like a baby. And Dr. Doom's not saying anything. He's just like, well, that's the way it is. And the Hulk's like, well, I don't, he's confused. He sort of has to let him go. Dr. Doom there was faced with death by being crushed like a, you know, by a huge bear like hug. And he didn't show 1 ounce of fear. You know, again, good writing. And then unfortunately, in recent years, there was that awful Brian Bendis story where, you know, they took his mask off and, you know, la la la. But the good thing is that we've been able to choose our villains from our different periods of time, from different genres that really appeal to us. It's going to be fascinating to see what the comments are from others regarding our choices.
And so really quickly, Billy, you wanted to talk about some honorable mentions, maybe a few characters that you wanted to say that you didn't know. So throw them.
Yeah, this is one from a TV show, if I could share it. And it's just one that disturbed the hell out of me. The entire TV show. Niall's not going to have an idea what this is. Maybe he will. You never know. Let me see if I can make it big first before I share it. Hang on. Come on. Go big. This Pinterest drives me nuts. Everything's through Pinterest now. All right. Let me go big with that. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share this. Boomers. Hello. Here it is. Okay. You ready? Witchy Poo from H&R Puffin Stuff. John, weirdo, hippie, marijuana, reefer smoking garbage. I hated the H&R Puffin Stuff. I hated Witchy Poo. I hated the stupid wand that talked. I had nightmares from this stuff. Disturbing, freaky. Look at this. You remember this, guys?
No, I don't. I never saw that.
Yeah, don't. It's terrible.
Yeah. Wait, but Billy, I'm going to have to throw one of my honorable mentions at you because you mentioned that freaking thing was, for me, was the witch from The Wizard of Oz, which was iconic. If you remember, I forget the actress that did that. I'm sure
Margaret Hamilton.
Yeah,
wow. Margaret Hamilton.
She was an iconic character. You got to think of, like, witches weren't really like that. You know, she basically changed the whole perception of what we saw as witches back in the 1930s. That's why when we look at decorations today for Halloween, they're all based on that witch that she portrayed on The Wizard of Oz. It's pretty interesting, like how she changed the whole dynamic of that. So
terrifying.
That was going to be one of my honorable mentions.
I actually felt sorry for her when she was, you know, after she had the water poured on her.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's sort of a shame, you know. But then again, you know, those flying monkeys and those bearskin guards. Believe you me, I've watched Wizard of Oz 9 million times.
Icon. And Steve, you might know. Remember, she appeared on a special, like I think in the 70s, and she dressed up as the witch. It was like one of those one night Saturday night things that they had during the season.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, no. She portrayed the witch again. So she came out and it was in color. Because I remember. Do you remember what I'm talking about? It was.
I know what you're talking about. You can see it on YouTube.
Yeah, but you can probably find it. But she came back out as the witch, and I remember watching one of those auction shows, and one of her hats came up on auction. One of her
Antique Roadshow had it. Yeah.
There was a few of them, but it sold at the time. This was about 10-15 years ago, but it almost sold for a little over $100,000 and all that. Probably sell for so much more now, but yeah, iconic. So I was just saying, Billy, so interested that you had that, but I had the Wicked Witch of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but she also appeared on, because she had just terrorized generations, and she actually went on, Margaret Hamilton, onto Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yes, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. And he had the little, and he said, well, let's play dress up. He's like, yeah, that's what I would do. It's like playing, and anyone could be a witch, and it's fun to be a witch. And you could, because kids were so terrified, and so, they were they were just, what scarred in their brains is fear of her. And she was the sweetest, this sweet small lady. She lived in New York City. and she would, I don't know, one of the churches,
She
maybe
was so nice too.
she would be at the soup kitchen every Saturday, Saturday and Sunday. She would be there feeding the homeless. She was such a good woman, such a good human being.
If I couldn't have one honorable mention,
Go ahead,
I know
Steve.
all you guys have seen this film, but this role terrified me so much of sheer hatred. And by the way, I only watched this film once because I cannot bear to watch it again. Okay? And this is the nurse from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, what was her name?
I can't remember her name.
Ratchet? Is it Nurse Ratchet, maybe?
I don't know. But as I said, the actress did a great job, the role, and I just, as I said, I watched it once. It tore me up inside to see Jack Nicholson ending up like that. So yeah, that's an honorable mention. What and Nurse Ratchet, yes.
Yeah,
Just
Ratchet.
awful.
What a
I
bitch.
hate that film, and I'm telling you the truth. I only ever watched it once, and I will never watch it again because it destroys me.
Yeah, isn't that scary? It's because a lot of at the time when you see that, it's so impactful. So Niall, you got an honorable mention?
I do, and this one's kind of,
Oh no.
I remember. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but just
Sega Genesis,
horrible. No. This is comics. Horrible. Just meditating, probably hippie, covered in tattoos, probably eating organic food, but just torturing. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Arashi. From She, Return of the War, or Way of the Warrior.
All right, Niall, stop.
Steve, do you know who it is?
That's
Steve. I have no idea. Who is that?
My character. That's Arashi from She. He's the
Tattooed, meditating, organic food eating.
Look at Niall, always promoting. What a bastard. He's so good at it. Good job, Niall.
Still available in demand. All right.
All right. So, hey, we'd like to thank everybody for watching this and having a fun time. We're going to come back. We're going to have more. We'll have Billy Tucci on. I want Dan Fraga to be on one of these too because I love to hear what he has to say.
Yeah,
Steve, as always, some great list. Niall, once again, thank you so much for everything. Doing a great job, and we'd like to thank everybody for watching this and send us your lists too because hey. If Doom's not number one, he's got to be in the top 5. If not, I don't know what you're talking about. Then I can't take that.
I just figured everybody would have picked Doom as number 1.
Right, but just so incredible. But anyways, we'd like to thank everybody, and once again, POPXP, Billy, love you to death. Niall, always doing a stellar job.
Great show.
Okay, Steve, get us out of here.
You know what? What a great time it has been tonight. Boom!
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on POPXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the POPXP and over on Instagram at the POPXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.